Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Veronica. Welcome. This is episode... What episode are we on? Oh, God. I don't remember.
76.
76?
76.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah.
Because we're... episode 76 of the NgoVo Convo podcast. We're two stupids. At least one right here. Makes it hype.
It is
right?
hype. You are
That's
right.
That's right. It's hype. Look at
It's
us.
hype.
I think we're getting it.
Yeah.
But I'm one of your hosts, Harrison.
Counting's hard. It's
Count.
okay.
Rude. Because I'm Harrison O, and I'm also joined by my co-host here, who's rude as hell, Veronica Vo.
Yes. I'm right here to his right. He's to
Directions
my
are hard too. That's okay.
left. Oh shit. That's okay.
No, you're right. It's hard for
like,
me.
wait.
I'm bad. I'm still getting my coffee. Don't worry about
It's
it.
fine. It's
but
fine.
if you're new here, we just want an excuse to talk about anything that ranges from anime to comics, anything pop culture, but really just to clean up our never-ending backlog. Because dear God, it just keeps going.
It's never ending now.
It really is. But some would say we're conversing.
Wow, like NgoVo Convo, NgoVo Convo, like the logo on top of Harrison.
If you don't know how to spell our last names, thank you, Veronica.
Quick and easy, short and sweet.
Easy. But you can watch every episode on youtube.com or listen to it as a podcast by searching up NgoVo Convo on your podcast service of choice.
We're on 10 different platforms. Ooh, I almost said flatforms. Ooh.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's fine. Everyone gets it.
Platform's technically flat, I would
Flat,
like to think.
yeah,
But,
yeah. Technicalities, it's fine.
We're off the rails today, but it's okay because in this episode, we're going to be talking about Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the movie that just came out. We are recording.
As of recording, it came out Friday.
Yes, like a couple days ago.
It's a couple days ago, yeah.
But if you haven't watched that, go ahead and go watch it. Go to your nearest movie theater. I recommend it. It's really good.
Yes.
And then come back and listen to our thoughts. But
Don't go to Cinemark, because some kids will pull.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that story.
triggers.
That's funny.
It's fine.
But before we will give some non-spoiler thoughts after we give a news dumpy. But then we'll talk about spoilers right after. We'll try to be good about that.
Yeah, we'll try to be good.
But this episode is sponsored by Anchor, and we'll get into that later.
Wow, that was quite the intro. It's like we haven't done this in forever.
What do you mean? Yeah, it's been a week.
Yeah,
It's been way too long.
Yeah.
Way too long.
Way too long.
Veronica,
Harrison.
we said we start with the news dumpy, so we'll just do
Yes.
that first. Cough.
Cough, cough.
I guess I'll start with anime. For you.
A lot of random stuff.
A lot of
For
random
us.
stuff, yeah. For us. So this is
us.
for last week, week of October 30th to... Wait. Is that the right one? I forget what week we're on now.
Oh, yeah. No, this news dump is a little behind, I think.
Yeah.
Is
so
it?
Don't I?
Yeah, it is.
So I'll just do
That's weird.
this week then.
Yeah,
last
yeah,
week.
just do this week. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, there is some other stuff, but we'll just kind of go through the anime stuff first. So episodes 43 to 49 of Golden Kamuy will be postponed until further notice due to a main member of the anime staff passing away.
They didn't say who.
They didn't say who. Okay.
They didn't say who.
They just, out
but-
of respect probably, but
Yeah, out of respect, they just had to stop. Which is funny, because this is on our backlog, and I did start this.
That's
so
true.
maybe I'll
You
just
started
take a
it.
pause, because I don't want
Pause
to be
it for a
blue
bit, 'cause-
balled.
because when stuff like this happens, we don't know, because they didn't say who, right?
No,
we-
yeah, they didn't say who.
We don't know how big of an impact that is, and it could be on hiatus for a couple bit.
A couple bit.
I was gonna say a couple weeks or a bit of time. And I was like, a couple bit of whatever. I don't know. We're gonna go with that.
I'm gonna clip that. I know what to clip today.
Rude as fuck.
But yeah, because they're like season 4 just started around the same time as this like hype anime, like, you know, Spy Family, My Hero. So it hasn't been too long for season 4 to like end. So we'll see where it starts again.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really unfortunate. So
It is.
condolences. We'll move on to the next piece though, where it's Psychopaths the movie and the King of Okay, hold on. Sakura the movie and the King of Thorn and Origin Spirit of the bro.
They're 3 different movies. Two.
I was gonna say,
don't
I was like,
know.
wait, no, this is 2, right? Psychopath the movie,
Yes, 2.
King
Yeah.
of Thorn and Origin, Spirit of the Past will stream on Crunchyroll on November 17th. Wow, that was a lot.
That
So
was a
essentially,
lot.
this coming week. So I think
Yes.
probably this Friday or something like that. Saturday?
Yes, Friday. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Awesome. I know my brother.
Psychopaths is on my backlog, the series.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
I haven't seen it either. It's on my backlog too. But it was
look
my
at
brother
that.
recommended to me like for years. And
Okay.
oops. Well, it was just hard to watch, I think, because I didn't know where to watch. There's something about it, but
Okay.
maybe it was on Netflix and then it got took off. It was a lot. But next item, the Ice Guy and his cool female colleague is scheduled for January 4th. You want to explain, Veronica?
Oh, so it's basically just like an office romance.
Okay.
Anime.
Cool.
Yeah. I've seen some like manga panels. It's really cute. Nothing lewd.
Wow.
Promise that.
Ah.
Because that will go into what your next announcement is.
Yeah, because the next announcement is that time I got reincarnated as a slime season 3 is announced.
Yeah.
It got announced. I think they just dropped a poster of what's her face? I forget. I'm bad with names. Yeah. We are bad with names.
We are bad with names.
I'm just happy it's announced for season 3. That's a really good one. We've reviewed parts, season 1 and 2 in parts, I believe. Something like that, but
yeah. I think they're dropping season 3 because the movie's coming out in Japan this week. That's why they dropped. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then, I had questions on this one because the Twitter post on it got everyone talking, but I don't know what the hell's going on. The Marginal Service original anime announced for 2023. Is that a Crunchyroll original? Is that what it was? Or
I have no idea.
See, the amount of information that's not out on this is
no idea.
So confusing. But for listeners just listening in on this, because I'm also not going to post. I'm bad with switching keyframes and all that stuff. But the poster for this, if you just search it up, it's the most fan service shit I've seen in a long time. And it's because it's an original anime. I'm like, what is this about?
What is it about? Yeah. It's basically like bunch of naked men and one woman.
Yeah.
The poster with a caution.
With a caution line
across their private parts. But the funny thing is, they dropped the voice actors.
And
right?
It's stacked.
And it's stacked.
With any voice that you would send over, honestly.
They're in here. They're in here.
Just like, what is this about? I'm so curious.
So I was looking it up on my anime list, and people commenting on it, they're like, "Is this like reverse, like harem anime?"
Reverse harem? I thought that too. I initially said that. I was like, "Is this a reverse harem?" But you don't know by context. Like, what if she's just...
Well, there's one girl, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on.
She's not center. She's center,
she's at the back. She's like the back end.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, because she's not like front, like in the front, or they didn't frame it in a way that she's the center, like main character.
Like main character.
It might not be.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
It looked interesting.
People that blew up on TikTok for a bit because people are like, "Look at this! Look at all these voice actors! What?
Look at these naked men!"
God. Yeah, that was weird, but
yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, it was.
Anything else for anime?
No, nothing else. Nothing else but the lewdness.
But all this lewd. All right, let's cleanse ourselves and go to the next item.
Okay, let's be sad together.
So for Marvel, as of recording, like we said, this is what the episode's about. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever came out on 11/11. Good date.
It's a good date.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. Get into our non-spoiler thoughts and then deep dive.
Yes.
Now for DC, same day.
They never have good news.
They really don't, and this one really hits home, especially like for both of us. Kevin Conroy passed at the age of 66, also on 11/11. Like, it was weird because that morning we were talking about how we're excited to go watch a movie about Chadwick Boseman, who also passed.
Yeah.
So we're like, this is gonna be like a big feeler movie, but then we get the news that Kevin Conroy just passed the same, like on that Friday as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I was like, it really hit because I was lucky enough to go like just see him at like panels and stuff. But I actually got like
and
I
signed stuff and pictures
I
with
actually
him.
yeah, I had a picture with him. I actually got the same day. I was like, oh, I don't know what I want him to sign something, and I didn't bring a Batman pop because at the time I was like, oh, I don't want him to just sign a normal Batman pop because I think the animated series one got announced. I was like, oh, I didn't have it at the time.
Yeah, you didn't have it, yeah.
So I didn't have him sign it. So I literally went to like a comic book like a booth, and they just happened to have a volume 1 of like the animated series run.
Oh,
They had it was just a bunch. I think it released that year, like that line of comics. And I was like, oh, okay. I literally bought that, walked into the line, and I'm like, oh, okay. And this is even better because this is when me and my wife. This is technically our first big date. I think. So, like, she came with me and she was really like supportive and like I was like, oh, I gotta wait in line for this guy. I'm sorry, but she was all for it because she loves Batman. She said, oh, I love Cameron Crowe. I was like, oh, hell yeah.
He's great.
And like walking up, and if you look online, everyone just has only good things to talk about because he's like the voice of Batman.
He is Batman.
He's super genuine. He's super nice because when I walked up, like my expectation was, oh, he's gonna like just talk to me really quick, sign some stuff, picture done. But he actually sat there and like talked to me like about like, oh, like oh, you're having me sign this. Did you like he was just asking like as a normal person. He's like, oh, did you watch like all this? And I would talk to him, but he would like start asking more and more questions. So he actually gave time, and it was like, oh, I need to take. Like, I know we said I forgot about the photo completely. He's like, oh, you want a photo with it? I was like, oh yes,
yes,
because I was so like starstruck on that day. I was like, oh my god, this is
I was so
cool.
sad about this. I was like, no, and then we had to go see like Black Panther. And I was like, no.
It's just it was definitely a heavy day. It was definitely a heavy day. But yeah, it's gonna be weird because they said it was did they confirm that it was cancer for sure, or they said he was fighting cancer?
They said he was fighting cancer, but they didn't like release anything like to confirm it.
Yeah.
But they said like close sources, so I'm assuming it's just someone within the circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of saying it, but no official like statement or anything from the family.
Mark Hamill's posts definitely were like, like big.
That was
big
so sad. But
it's crazy because it's like, yeah, the animated series really did change a lot of things of how Batman worked. Like it introduced Harley Quinn. Like they made the idea of like, oh, double persona. Like it's a double persona, but he's like the first voice actor, or first actor really, just to like utilize oh, Bruce Wayne sounds like this, so Batman should sound like this, because most of the movies at that point it's just like the focus is always Batman, but I think this one as a show actually focused on like both the identities really well and contrasted. Like I watched like the first couple episodes I think a couple days ago after hearing the news just to like be nostalgic, and the series is
you
old.
can hear the difference,
but you can hear the difference.
Yeah, and the series is old.
It's old, and it's in the, like it's interesting to see how he would voice Batman at that point versus how we know of like the animated version now, or even just voiced now.
Like voiced now, yeah.
Yeah, in the games or like any of the shows and movie stuff, it's totally different. So, but it was still really good. So, also sad.
Big sad.
Big.
We're
rest
big
in
sad.
peace.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. But that's most of the news for this past week.
Yeah, not much has dropped. So let's slow down a little bit.
Yeah. I guess we'll just take a break now. It's this weird thing of like we have our non-spoiler spot, but we'll just do it now. It's fine.
Yeah.
So we'll take a quick break to talk about our sponsors.
On today's episode, we are sponsored by Anchor. It is a free podcast hosting service that we actually use. We've been using Anchor since we've started the podcast. It's because there are creation tools that allow us to record and edit the podcast right from our phones and computers. A huge plus for us is that Anchor would distribute our podcast to all platforms such as Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, and many more. It really is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one spot. please download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm, ANCHOR.FM to get started.
And we're back.
Wow, that was quick.
Such a long
Coffee
break.
Coffee break. I went
Coffee
to
break.
get coffee.
You did. Oh, me too. Wow, look at us. Except my cup's cooler.
Wow, it's BS.
What? Look at that. Look at that.
Look
My
at you
hero.
being a
Come
weeb.
on. What are you talking about? Well, anyway, we're going to skip over that because that break was too long. I couldn't wait to talk about what, Veronica?
Black Panther! Wakanda Forever. Number 2.
Wakanda Forever.
The
Second
sequel.
Movie. The sequel.
The sequel.
Non-spoiler thoughts. You first.
Well, I was really excited because this was basically like a tribute, right, to Chad.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really excited. I wanted to see how they would honor him. Because I think this is the first time really for Marvel, especially when Chad was like a big role.
Mm-hmm.
In the first the last 5-6 years basically when he started out as Black Panther. So I think it was just interesting to see where the story would go, who would take the mantle, who would take, his spot. But also it was really sad because, it's like a big hole, like a big space basically, where you can't fill it. Like no one can really fill his shoes. And I think one of the most frustrating parts was like people were on the internet, they're like, oh, just replace him, like it's gonna be fine, like we need Black Panther, like what's gonna happen post blip, yada yada yada. But I think Ryan, the director, he wanted to close the chapter of like Chad.
Yes.
And I think he did it right.
He did it right.
In my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think, but overall, did you like it?
Yes.
Okay.
I had to go see it twice, actually.
Why is that?
Hold
on, we'll just jump into that. Why is that, Veronica?
Because went to Cinemark. That's why my Cinemark comment earlier was like, don't go Cinemark when you go see this. So we were in the middle. So the first time I went to Cinemark, watched it. Got blue balled at the worst spot possible, which we'll get into in spoiler thoughts.
I think you were like two-thirds in. You were like two-thirds in.
Two-thirds in. Yeah.
This movie had a runtime of like, I think 2 hours and 45 minutes. So it was like, you guys were in already.
Yeah, no, we had 45 minutes left.
Yeah.
I can tell you that much. Got blue balled on Friday. And I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? So I had to go see it again on Saturday, like at 1 p.m. And we went to like Studio Movie Girl. And I was like, oh my God, Studio Movie Girl, just let me burn. Just someone do not pull the fire drill trigger. I was like, please don't.
No, it was really awkward because I remember we were watching around because we also went on Friday, but we're in different time zones. And because essentially I was watching 40 minutes after you.
Yeah.
So by the time I heard you say it, I just finished the movie.
You just finished it.
And I was about to go in and like talk to you about it. And I was like, ooh.
You
Ooh, I almost said some shit.
And then and the funny part was your brother was supposed to tag along on Friday. Long story short, he got drunk and then he was like, sorry, I can't make it. And I was like, oh my God. And I told him about the fire drill incident. And he's like, okay, let's go together tomorrow, like Saturday.
It worked out. It worked out for him, honestly.
Yeah, it worked out for him. And so we all got to see on Saturday. I was like, oh my God.
Speaking
this was
of
a
Black
journey.
Panther shirt, it's really cool.
Oh,
anyway.
I have Spider-Man.
Almost there.
Almost. But yeah, so it was a journey to finish this movie, and I hope to never sit in Cinemark ever again because that was scary.
No, it's worse because the one that you went to, we used to go to all the time back then.
Yeah.
Like that was the one that we went to. So.
And it's the busiest Cinemark too, and I was like, "What's wrong with you?"
It was.
What's?
Oh, that's my coffee pot. Oopsies.
Oh, that's fine.
But yeah, no, that's why when you said that, I was like, "Oh, that really." One, it really sucks on where it stopped.
Yes.
But it also probably a decent spot because it was. I will say that was probably approaching Act 3.
Yeah, it was the start of Act 3. Basically.
Yeah, so not the worst, but it still sucked that it happened. So
yeah, the screen went black, and I was like, "Is this part of the movie? Where are we cutting to?" And it was just like lights turned on, and the fire drill thing like started going and lights going on, I was like, who burnt the popcorn? And I was like walking out slowly. I was like, I don't smell burnt popcorn. I don't see any fire. I think someone just pulled it.
Some asshole kid probably thinking, I'm going to pull the fire alarm. Ha 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 ha.
Ha 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 ha. Hope they get arrested. Hope they step on some Legos.
Shit. But
yeah, that's my story. Yeah. Anyway, Harrison, your non-spoiler thoughts. How do you feel about it?
Well, I didn't get interrupted, but I also didn't. I guess it's. I was gonna ask you later if like watching it a second time helped, but overall, I thought it was really good. Like I enjoyed it a lot more. I think it's one of the top movies for this phase. Mm-hmm. Behind when I had to ask Veronica this, I'm like, because I knew what else released this year. I think it's better than the movies this year for sure. Low bar for this year, but last year I think it's like right behind Spider-Man for the phase because that's one I forgot. It's behind Spider-Man, but it's like on point with like Shang-Chi and all that.
Shang-Chi, yeah.
But I say this like in because my wife always ragged on me for saying this, but I really do believe that this movie did a really good job, given that essentially it had to be rewritten. I think that's the crazy part because Ryan, the director, finished the script, and the sad part was like this is what I read online. He sent it to Chadwick, and then but the thing is he was like, oh, I don't want to read it yet. Yeah. And then I think a couple weeks later he passed.
He passed, yeah.
So it was like as if I think he knew it, so they had to just straight up rewrite. And given that, that's really why it's probably delayed. But I really do think the movie did really well. It got to show us why the first movie did well because I think the supporting cast in the first movie essentially became the main people in this one. Like it took it up and they all got to have the spotlight and they did really good. I think the cinematography is pretty good. There were some parts that I felt unneeded or it felt very because MCU is now such a big connected thing. They have to do this. They do have to do this. I didn't think it was a plot point where I was like, it's okay. It didn't happen enough though. Like luckily it wasn't that bad. But whenever it did pop up, I'm like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'll explain into more detail that I thought it was they were kind of keeping that line of like this is the actual main issue and we're about to drop it, but it didn't. So
yeah, no.
I think Namor, really good introduction.
He's great.
No, like how they handled his stuff was really good. All the like everyone got to do. It was just everyone did really well.
It was well balanced.
It was well balanced.
Like seeing everyone.
Yeah, especially given like how they have to just essentially redo the movie.
Yeah.
I think my thing is I do believe that it is a transition movie. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited to see what happens next again. But now like they had to tie up a lot of loose ends.
Yeah.
But they did a really good job with that.
And they can get into the meat of stuff later on, like what could have happened. Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I thought it was really good. So.
Me too.
Go watch it.
Not Cinemark.
Not Cinemark. But are we ready for spoilers, Veronica?
Yes.
I'm ready. All right.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Spoiler mode. Okay, cool.
So, spoilers.
Because I don't want to edit. But
spoilers.
What do you think? Okay, I guess. Did you have any gripes at all? I didn't have as many gripes, but
I didn't have as many. But what I will say is that it was a little bit more on the serious tone and kind of like a sad tone because, they're trying to honor Chad and Black Panther dying and like the mourning and grieving process, right? Because that was throughout the whole movie, basically. That's the journey of mourning and grieving someone dying. And Marvel always has these like one-liner funny moments or like funny bits and pieces.
They only had one. They kind of only had one big one that wasn't noticeable to me.
Oh, okay. No, they had like some lines like in there, like jabs and stuff. Yeah. I just think like there was one moment where it wasn't where it didn't feel right.
What
to
moment?
Me.
Wait, yeah.
It was
when
Namor and Shuri. She was like she was in the city, and it was like she was trying to wear the suit to go
like, oh,
deeper.
I would like to see your city.
Yeah.
Oh, if you would like to have like the pressure crushing you, like
your chest and like yada yada yada. He goes, oh, but we have suits.
Yeah, that was the one I was talking about. That's the one that was very glaring. I was like,
yeah,
that's the MCU touch. Okay, there we are.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I just felt like it was misplaced. Like, but that's just my opinion. And if someone asked me how can you do it better, I'm gonna be like, I don't know. I'm just a consumer. I'm just here to just say my opinions and just leave it out there.
I think it was fine. Like, but I agree with you. That was the one glaring one. But again, I was like, I just took it as, oh, that's the MCU touch. Okay, here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that, to me, that was just the one point I just didn't.
And you were saying, oh, it's like one of the serious ones, because it does feel like, the movies that were serious. Okay, like, so here are all the movies that came out for Phase 4, right? So it started with Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Love and Thunder, and then this, right?
Yeah. I mean, you say the list, and I'm like, yeah, this is probably the one more serious.
It is one of the more serious.
Like serious, like sad tones. Yeah.
Because the last serious sad tone was, honestly, to me, was Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Because Doctor Strange, it was a horror-esque thing, but I didn't take it that seriously, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Love and Thunder, no, not even serious.
Absolutely not. No serious whatsoever.
So it was a nice way to just cap out Phase 4. Just finish it off.
It's a good way to end it. I think how they're going there, yeah.
Yeah. I think, and then for me personally, I think my gripe is more in that plot C that we're talking about, or whatever plot. Yes. The one with
Ross and
Valentina.
Yeah.
Yeah. One, they kind of just, because she's going to be the person in charge of the Thunderbolts. Most likely. Yep. So they had to include her. They had to, I think that it's like a slight introduction on the movie side, because I was thinking about it. She's only been introduced in the shows.
Yep.
And Black Widow at the end.
Yes.
But I think that's it, to my knowledge. But that to me, that speaks of, I don't remember much of her. So they had to kind of give a through line for her and introduce like the connections and stuff. Like, it really did just feel like, oh yeah, me and Ross were married. Okay, that's the connection.
I know she said that line, and I was like,
we could talk about our marriage. I'm like,
I was
okay.
like, what's going on?
Cool. But that's like my one big thing where anytime that scene happened, I was like, okay, I get they're trying to bring up the US thing. And I was really worried what if like the conflict was supposed to be Namor, or is Namor, or Namor's nation versus the Wakanda nation, right?
Yeah.
I was really worried that Act 3 was about to become, oh, just kidding, it's the US now.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, don't do that. And they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Thank goodness. No. And then I think my other thing is Riri Williams, the Ironheart.
Oh,
thing.
The Ironheart? Yeah.
I'm really glad that. So I know some people griped about how like, oh, she made an Iron Man suit, and technically in the comics she has a lot of influence over Iron Man and such. But in this one, it feels like they just kind of tacked it on with the Wakandans.
Yeah.
I think maybe for a good reason, because then it's like maybe.
I think it feels natural.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
that's a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I think it was good.
And the color scheme is like Iron Man, and I mean Iron Man's like a big
red machine.
Big red machine. Like,
big suit.
Of course, she's gonna want to like make colors that inspire her that way, but I think the Wakandans like inspired her more.
Yeah, or at least gave her a better avenue to like just use her skills, right? So I think that was fine. I think the only gripe on that one was like the suit at the end looked kind of weird CGI wise.
Yeah, CGI wise, I think
felt out of place.
Yeah,
because I was like, man, I can see like the Iron Man suit, but why does this one look weird? But
and I don't know if it's because of the water, because there was a lot of like water scenes, and then she was fighting in the water, and then she got out of it, so maybe that was like the shining part because it was sunny and whatnot. So it could be like reflection issues and stuff, but I do agree with you on that part where it looked a little funny.
Yeah, that was like the one CGI part that looked weird. And then maybe the suit that they that they dropped with Okoye, but that one didn't look as bad.
No, that one didn't look as bad.
Yeah.
Because it had blue,
yeah,
blue color scheme, so it's okay.
All right. So, any other things?
No other gripes.
Because can we talk about... honestly, I think all the actors did really well.
Oh, they did.
Angela Bassett was really good. She was
so good. Angela Bassett was so good.
For those that don't... I have a list next to me, so I'm cheating. But she's the
queen.
Queen mother.
Yeah, queen mother.
But it was... Man, though, her performance was really good. She commanded so much.
A grieving mother. Yeah.
Yes. I felt it, and I was like, dang, this sucks. Yeah. Oh, I think... Did you have a favorite section in the movie?
I think my favorite section would have to be where they were in the city, because that was a really pretty way of showcasing an underwater city and the journey to get there. But also I really like the soundtrack when Shuri was in the city, kind of just exploring.
The music was really good. I was actually kind of worried, but it was still really good. My goodness.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite part. But also, I really thought Shuri and Namor they were gonna have this enemies to lovers trope. I was real scared of that.
I was worried of that too. I was too. I said, oh no, don't propose.
I know. I was like, oh, you're giving her a bracelet that was your mother's. And then I was just like, oh my god, it's enemies to lovers.
But it's not.
Not.
Yeah, it totally took a left turn when he goes in and just destroys Wakanda.
Yeah.
Did you feel like the movie was a bit long though?
1000%. When I saw this, I had to see this twice, back to back.
Okay, that's why I asked you. It was
long. It felt long. I think it could have been cut by 30 minutes, in my opinion.
Yeah. Because I think the original one ran for 2 hours 15.
15?
Something like that. Yeah. So they added 30 more. I think at the time when I watched it, it didn't feel as long. But I'm sure knowing what's happening, it does feel a bit longer. But I feel like that's just a typical reaction to that kind of stuff.
And I don't know if it's just me, but this phase 4, every movie, I feel like I'm getting a little bit of whiplash because they're just traveling, or you're seeing so many different cities in one movie. Because they were traveling back and forth between
Wakanda and then Talocan,
Haiti, Mexico, Yucatan. They were just going everywhere. And now, my thought process is oh, basically every movie in phase 4, they were everywhere.
Yeah, I think that is the case, cause especially in this one, I feel like they were trying to showcase a lot of the culture for a lot of things, and then how it can
which is great,
which is good. I think I think that's great, and I think this movie kind of gets a pass in my opinion because they have to kind of reestablish a lot more compared to other movies. I mean, well, let's say Shang-Chi it's a new movie, they had to establish certain things, but this one has to
they had to
reestablish a lot of things. So I think they have to take the time to do certain things, because I wonder, this is a lot of I only read up on what the movie was going to be versus what it is now. So I'm just curious how that runtime would be and all that, but that's why I was it's longer, but I'll give it a pass because it has to. But I think it will be critiqued in such a fashion down the line because rewatching or going back, it is knowing what we know going forward will affect it for sure.
Oh yeah.
Did any character in this movie shine out to you?
M'Baku?
Okay.
He has been my favorite since the beginning, but I think I just like him because he's kind of an a-hole, but he's a really funny one, to say the least. And I think his journey in this one, his grieving process was a little different because he promised Black Panther that he would take care of Shuri and be her confidant and basically show her the right path. You know,
Yes.
if for whatever reason like Queen Mother died, surprise, she did. But and
Did you
like he
expect
would.
that? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I
I'm
was
jumping. Don't worry. Finish your.
yes and no. It was getting a little predictable because it was just like how Namor was like saying certain phrases to Shuri. It was just like, oh, but what happens if you are the ruler? Or like, you know, like the way he just said stuff. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I wasn't sure if they would do it right away, but I had a feeling they would because, well, that's the thing though. And I guess this is the end. When at the beginning I was like confused because you remember they had their moment together to grieve and they're gonna burn the
Yeah, the robes.
it was a year later, the
white
robes, burn the robes, and she's like, I have something to tell about your brother, but then get interrupted by Namor coming into Wakanda.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, she never got to sound what? They never redressed. And then the post credit,
But the post credit.
I was like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's it. We'll talk about that in a bit. But I think for me, my favorite in this one was Namor. Or how did they say
Is it Namor or Namor?
It's
Namor?
so I think in the comics it's Namor, but they gave a reason of why it's not. I'm gonna butcher it, but Namor, but it's like no love essentially.
Yeah.
No heart.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's okay. I don't know much about Namor as a character, but yeah, I was like, that's really cool. I think
cool.
I was worried that he was gonna look dumb fighting, because in the comics it really is just he just has like the Speedo on and then winged feet.
Man, he has a nice butt. The actor has a nice butt. They did butt shots, and I was like, they knew what they were doing.
He got the bod.
He
Gotta
does.
flex it. But they made him really cool. Like I was worried about how it looked, but he like him jumping around.
That was really cool. And his spear, and then whenever he was fighting, it was super cool.
Yeah, and it really, to me, for a second movie, given I was like, how are they? Well, mainly that, but I was like, I liked the action in this one more than the first one. I will say it now though, I still like the first one more because I think the plot is a bit tighter, and I think I liked how the cats bounced each other. I just watched some clips and I like just, again, it's just Chadwick commanding presence, and it's just everyone bounced off very well. Because like seeing Shuri there versus here, of course she's grieving, it's different, but it was just to me night and day where like the vibes were different. Mm-hmm. But in this movie, I think Talokan is like still a good, because if you think about it, who would be the next big bad for the Wakandans? If they're that powerful, they established it. They just took care of the French mercenaries at the beginning. Like boom, no problem. So I was like, okay, Talokan. They also have some vibranium.
Yeah.
Sure. And it's a nation. I was like, that's good.
Yeah.
Because then my wife asked me, she was like, oh, well, who would you have had? And I'm like, technically Doctor Doom. But he doesn't exist.
That's what I was going to say. Dr. Doom, but he doesn't exist right now.
He doesn't exist, so can't use him yet.
Yeah.
But that's usually the case because he has, I forgot, Doctor Doom has his country. I forgot all of a sudden. But essentially he has a nation, super powerful, genius. But
yeah, super smart.
But I'm glad they introduced Namor and like just gave like a good explanation for like the Mayan like backstory. I thought that was really cool.
I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
I thought the culture, like all the culture stuff that we got to see with Namor and like the city, like the colonization, history.
They're addressing the colonization thing. I was like, ooh, that's
yeah.
Oof, that's big, that's heavy. But it was good. I liked the parallel. I think at the end, I liked the parallel. That it was funny because I think Namor accidentally created that parallel by killing off Ramonda.
Yes.
So then Shuri just went down that path of like vengeance.
Yes.
Did you hear? Okay, at the beginning, I needed to look this up. I keep forgetting to look this up. But the flower that gives the power to Black Panther. Did you misunderstand what they were trying to create at the beginning?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I didn't get it. I was like, what do you have to do
kind of
with
heart?
DNA? Yeah.
And then what kind of heart? I thought she was trying to like clone a heart or something because I was like, oh, maybe he has a heart issue. So they're trying to recreate that. But then at the end, I'm like, oh, she's recreating the flower because that's how he got revived the first time around.
Yeah. No, I was a little confused. I watched it twice and I was like, what are they doing? I was like, are they doing a heart? Giving him a new heart? Like, what are we creating? Like,
oh yeah, because you wouldn't get. Did you wait? Oh yeah, when it got cut off, did you see her in the suit and recreating the thing?
So I saw her in the suit. Where I got blue balled was when they were about to enter Act 3, and Shuri was like, you know, Wakanda forever, yada yada yada. And then she's on the ship in the middle of the ocean. You hear her say Wakanda forever, and it cuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sucks. Damn.
I was upset.
I'd be big upsetty on that one.
I was upset.
What was I saying? Shoot. We'll get back to it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no. Shuri going down the path of like vengeance because the mom the mom essentially got killed by Namor.
Yeah, by Namor.
When she got the flower, did you expect her to see Killmonger?
No, because I
questioned who would she see.
Yeah. So I read a rumor where Michael B. Jordan didn't want to be in this movie because Chadwick has passed and they were like really good friends. So I think
I read that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, Michael B. Jordan's not gonna like come back. Like I was like, no, there's no way. Like he doesn't want to be involved anymore, technically. But then like the pan where like Shuri just like walks over into like the queen's like chair. I was just like, oh shit, here he is.
See, I actually, because I read the same thing where it didn't seem like he was going to do it, but maybe that was just a bait, or maybe like he got like they
worked something out.
They worked something out.
Yeah.
But because at the time I was like, oh yeah, if she gets the flower and she gets the powers, because that's the whole point, she has to inherit the power. How is that going to happen? I was like, who's she going to see? Because before the whole thing was T'Challa's rise to becoming the king he wants to be or should be. That was the whole issue because it's Killmonger and all that. So of course he would see his dad and he gets to hear more about like that. But in here I'm like the history and everything. Well, here I'm like, is she gonna see the mom because she can't see T'Challa? Because they said that because Ryan said he would not use any
like fake outs,
any fake processing or AI generated stuff like that.
Yeah.
Of T'Challa used, so out of respect, which I was like, okay, that's cool. So I was really questioning who would they show, because I'm like, would they show dad? They don't really. There's not really any issues with dad.
Yeah.
It has to be the mom. So I really got I was super surprised to see Killmonger, but it makes sense because her intent matches that of Killmonger.
Yeah, vengeance, going after people who killed your family. Doing the work.
Yeah. So I didn't see that turn twist, but I liked it. Overall,
did you like the suit? Do you like her suit?
I did like the suit. It looked really good.
Yeah,
it looked really good. It
looks very Shuri.
I kind of wish we got to see more of it because again, I like the Black Panther suit. Honestly, it's such a cool idea.
It's so clean.
It's so clean. Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get the whole point of like she took it because she finally had a reason to. It just felt kind of late, but what's new. But that's also a classic. Like this Phase 4 is mirroring Phase 1 in that everyone gets that big reveal at the end of what their identity is going to be.
The last hour.
Yes, essentially.
Basically, yeah.
But her suit's clean. I think it's nice that she had some twists because she added some of her own tech.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's nice.
And her own colors.
Her own colors and everything. Yeah. So, trying to think. The only suit that looked kind of weird, not because of the way it was designed, Okoye suit at the end. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, yeah, the blue.
Yeah, the blue suit.
The angel something.
It's called
angel something.
It just, I don't know why. Maybe it was just the way it was animated in that last section. It did look kind of weird.
No, it did look funny, and I don't know what it was, but I can't put my finger
Something
on
about
it.
that last fight, like that's the thing. Like the Black Panther suit looked good, but everything else
they just put all their money on there.
Maybe they really. And I mean, they had more fish people. According to M'Baku, is like, oh, the fish man.
Oh yeah, fish man.
Speaking of fish man, they really are going in on. He said, "I'm a mutant." They just said, "I'm a mutant," because he is. Yeah. He isn't a mutant in the comics. So,
he is.
Yeah, so it makes sense. I'm just like, this just give me X-Men. This is what I want. Just give me X-Men.
You just want X-Men, don't you?
I do. But I just really want X-Men. They're moving towards it, so I'm like just really happy. That's Phase 6 at this rate. I don't think I saw anything with Phase 5 on their announcements.
No. Phase 5 is Kang killing everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I teared up at the beginning and at the end because they did the tribute to Chad.
With the MCU, like, or the Marvel Studios logo.
Yeah.
Oh man, the moment I saw his face, I'm like, oh no, this is.
And it was silent, and they only used scenes of Chad, like, while they were doing the MCU. Yeah. Yes. And it was just like, I was like, oh my.
And then it turned purple.
And it turned purple. I was like, and then at the end, Shuri was like fully grieving. And she was like thinking about, Chad, and they did like panels of like scenes of him from every movie he's been in. And she's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I know my wife was like, she's like, I said she started tearing up, and I'm like, I just welled up with like emotions at that point. I was like, damn, that's really sad.
It was a good tribute to him.
So, and we're gonna jump on that. I know, overall, I like the movie, and I think what it is though, I think it's a really good tribute to Chadwick Boseman and to T'Challa, King T'Challa of, like, previous movies. They did a really good job in wrapping that up. It really is a grieving process for everyone and closing out. And you mentioned at the beginning, it's a way to close out this chapter of T'Challa.
Yeah.
I think it really did good in that aspect. I think I still like the first movie better in that. Again, it's tighter because I think this one they had to do it again. Like, essentially had two funerals.
They had to restart this whole thing. Basically.
So everything that's happened, I'm like, this is done very well, and he wrapped up this segment very well and closing out that chapter.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that credit scene though, because they recasted him in the best way possible, in my opinion.
I think that was a very smart move.
No one can question it as well.
No.
Especially essentially, T'Challa Jr. is now introduced.
Yeah.
And I think that averts any issue of, like, they didn't recast, but they recasted. Yeah. Because now I think they can still, because there's so many stories they could tell still for Black Panther, but they couldn't.
And we're in the universe, and I think the way that they're gonna pivot with young.
Oh, you think they could do a time skip or something?
They could.
Oh, they could that's pivot. A good prediction.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was gonna ask you, I'm like, how do you think they're gonna handle that? But with multiverse stuff and like whatever happens, they could do another time skip again. Yeah. At this point, what is time? Doesn't mean shit.
It doesn't mean shit.
So that's cool. No, that's true. Because I really do believe that there's so many more stories that they can tell and like essentially just build off. But I feel like people was worried like, with Chadwick's passing, out of respect, should we keep going, right?
Yeah.
But
I think they can, and this was their way of saying like, we can move forward with like Black Panther. Basically.
Trains on my end.
No, it's okay.
But I also was gonna say I think they could do that with this is more on the note, like me noticing the moving forward of the next generation of Avengers. Like they are definitely doing they're primed to like just create the young Avengers at this point with Kamala Khan.
They're prepping hard
with what's her face? I forgot Hawkeye's.
Oh yeah, I forgot her name.
I remember her. Like, I'm like seeing it, but like but they're creating all these younger versions or like young people to like Ironheart too. They introduced Ironheart in here as well. But at first I was like, Ironheart's like the young Avenger, but I did not foresee
like seeing the suit
T'Challa Jr.
Like,
that too. I was expecting the suit to be later and like she'll just make some pseudo one.
Yeah,
but it makes sense. So they are primed to like move on to the next generation of Avengers because at this point most of the old Avengers are like they're old. They're getting old, and they're showing it too. Like Hawkeye's, like honestly, like damaged from all like the battles,
all the wars
and
and battles he's been in. Yeah.
Hulk, being Hulk. I haven't seen She-Hulk, so I can't. I was about to say something. I was like, I didn't watch it. I
No,
don't know
you
what's
can't
going
say
on.
it. Yeah, you go.
I don't know what's going on. So, but the way they frame it is like he's like almost Professor, like the Maestro.
Yeah.
Eventually,
he is.
maybe. But
Yeah.
no, but essentially they're moving towards like the next generation, and I think that's really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I think the other I'm saying this now because I've thought about it for the past weekend because I didn't have to watch it twice. So maybe I want to see your thoughts on this. Did you feel like this is a good tribute to Chadwick, but I think the movie still falls short in certain aspects of they almost do something, but then they can't.
They held back.
They had to hold back. As in, like, the fight, the Act 3, I like Act 3 more, but the outcome felt very, she had to hold back. I'm not saying that the choice was wrong. I'm just saying, like,
wrong, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, the battle didn't feel like it was fully complete because Namor's still gonna, he's like, there's an alliance.
But he's still gonna backstab.
But he's also kind of known as, like, the anti-hero to an extent. He does what he, he's like the Black Adam where he does things for his nation, if I remember correctly.
I mean, which is fine.
Which is fine. No, I'm not saying
colonized, you know?
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
fine.
for real. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, and then like, Ironheart felt like they just did it to where like, oh, okay, she has a suit, but now
they kind of like whipped it up really quick too.
But I like the connection. But again, it's like they played it out well, but it's like definitely like this is a transitional movie and it's not fully done because now they even left the seat of power for Wakanda in question. M'Baku walked in and was like, I will challenge for the throne, and I'm like, well, yeah, who's gonna go against you, bro?
And then they cut it off.
Yeah.
As if we did, like, there's no result to it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, again, up to interpretation, I'm sure, until we get answers in the next movie. But it's one of those, this movie took 90%, and then we still don't know the 10. It just feels 10. Like somewhat unsatisfying. In that aspect.
I totally agree. Yeah, it was a good tribute, but then, like you said, they will push on the gas pedal, and then there's like a point, and you can just always tell when they're just gonna break.
They have like, to, but they have to break. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have. I know that they had to. Like this is. Yeah. This is. Just
and it's probably because like plot points and like actors and it probably had like a bunch of things that they just couldn't really do.
Yeah, because they have to essentially answer the question of, which they kind of did, but not really. Again, same thing. I like Shuri's character, but I don't know if she's like the replacement we need. But she's definitely the one that took up the Black Panther mantle, that's fine. Mantle.
Yeah.
But is she gonna be the Black Panther going forward? It doesn't seem like she ever wants it. That's the thing.
She's never really wanted it.
She's doing it out of necessity, right? Yeah. So again, I think this is just my interpretation of the movie, like because they leave it open to that aspect. Because now we know T'Challa's Junior's existence is real.
Existing, yeah. He existed.
Or exists. Come on.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Exists.
Words are hard.
Yeah, words are hard.
But that's my thought of the movie. Like I like it a lot, but I think that's where, and again, I think that's the best way to say it, it's such a great tribute to Chadwick, but I think as a Black Panther movie, I still like the last one more because of.
No, I agree.
Yeah, but again, I'm not. This is not like huge. Like this is not docking. No, I can't give a score. I don't usually do. But
we never do. Yeah.
We don't do that. We just talk. But this is why I don't give it that much of a negative. But I know, I have a feeling that this will be a negative in the future. For future viewers and when people go back and review when the next movie comes out. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So.
I agree. But go watch it.
Go watch it. If you've
gotten this far
just go watch
into our podcast, just go watch it.
Go watch it again because Veronica watched it again.
Watch it twice. Please.
Match the vibe. What?
Match the vibes.
Do you have anything else?
No, I don't. Just bring some tissues. That's it. No, seriously. Bring some tissues.
Bring some tissues.
Yeah. Bring lots of tissues.
Well, I'm just going to close it out then. Thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon at NgoVo Convo and NgoVo Convo. That's right above my head. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button and notification bell to get updates for when we upload.
Oh my goodness.
But also subscribe. The big red button right below Veronica.
Bee.
Smash it.
Smash.
Like the button too. I'm just saying. Don't hit dislike though.
Yeah, don't hit the dislike.
Makes
I'll
me
come
sad.
find you.
I've already been sad this past week. Don't do that to me.
Yeah, don't do it to us.
But yeah, let us know how we're doing, what you want to see next, what you want us to read, play, watch, listen, all that jazz.
All that good stuff.
But yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.